Okay, I need to explain something about hoof capsules. And the reason I'm doing this video is because this thing came across my Facebook. A post came across my Facebook timeline today, and it was from this Equine Service deal, corrective. Supposedly they do corrective work, but they also do barefoot trimming. Okay, and it was this horse, and half of its hoof capsule was cracked off. And of course the gal didn't know how it happened exactly. So later they're guessing, you know, but I could tell by looking at the capsule at the foot that the heel buttresses were trimmed off of it, that it had no sole to even hold the capsule together, that if that horse would have stepped on a big rock, or it could even run down a road or anything like that, steps on anything wrong and too hard, easily break the hoof capsule. And I've been seeing this. I've been seeing a lot of cases of this, where these horses that have the feet trimmed out of them barefoot style, because Jamie Jackson, who was a farrier and didn't know hoof anatomy anyway, or he wouldn't have had to use Dr. Hildred Strasser to try and prove out his theories, which she didn't know jack. Okay, and they've been decimating horses all over the world too. Anyway, he picked out a wild horse that had worn its heels out. When they wear their heels out, they also strip the frog stay out of the foot that's supposed to be in the foot back here, that is a major part of the suspension system. And it stretches and pulls the digital cushion this wide, when the digital cushion is supposed to be held up in the foot under the digit by at least 2 inches of frog stay. See, up in here? Okay, so anyway, he picked a foot that had worn its heels out. And then mimicked a trim to, now every barefoot trim is based on trimming the heels out of the horse. And by the heels, I mean the heel buttresses, which are 2 pieces of solid wall that grow on the back of the heels back here, like so. This horse don't have no heels, hardly either. But anyway, but he's better than most. Okay, they look at this and they think this is a horse's foot. Well, this is not the horse's foot exactly. What is the horse's foot? This is the horse's foot. The horse actually has a real foot on the inside of the capsule. Okay, this thing that grows from it, the frog and the hoof capsule, which is composed of the bars, walls, buttress, and the sole. Okay, and when you take off a hoof capsule, frog comes with it, all in one piece, just like a shoe. This is a shell that is supposed to fit this foot perfectly and support it and give it at least an inch of sole under the foot. If you have an inch of sole and an inch of wall that goes beyond the foot here, pretty much your foot's going to hold together. But when you trim these heel buttresses out, which are right here, see, heel buttress starts growing right here, grows right here, grows to the edge of the foot, to the bottom where the sole corium starts. It meets the sole corium, and then they need to grow at least another inch to keep that foot off the ground. See, these bulbs aren't meant to be walking on the ground like that. Okay? They're meant to be lifted up off the ground. Well, this horse, he's just down like that. He had no heels at all, and I know it didn't have no sole either. You can see how thin it was. Okay, this is because of whoever did it, I don't know who did it, their barefoot trimming to make it look like Jamie Jackson's wild hoof model with no heels and 30-degree hairline and bulbs walking on the ground. Okay, so the heel buttress wall right here grows from the coronary band right here, and it grows down and it meets the sole right there. It's about an inch. Then it takes up with the sole and they grow another inch like that. And then the dorsal wall up here, it comes down here, it meets up with the sole right here. And then they join together with the sole and it grows another inch. And then you have a foot that actually has, if I can hold it, get out of here, some sole under it, holding the whole thing together. But this foot had none. It had no sole. Okay. And so it had no sole, thin old shelly walls, false heels, what we have come to call false heels. False heels where you finally trim the whole buttress out because you keep bringing the heels back to where finally there's no buttress at all, and the bar and the wall, sidewall merge together to form a false, what is a false buttress. Then every time you trim that foot down, it actually is starting to trim it forward like this. You can trim the capsule out this far up in the foot and take all this bulb here and everything and pull it under and down in the foot. And what that does is, see, right here is your digital cushion. Right in here is where the frog stay grows. That frog that grows between the bulbs is meant to hold that digital cushion up in place here. But what these stupid hoof experts in the barefoot world have figured out, because see, they've trimmed the heels out of everything, and when you trim the heels out of something, okay, it pulls, it strips this frog stay out of the foot, and it pulls all this down like that, and it stretches this digital cushion way down here. They think the digital cushion is growing, and they are developing a digital cushion, when in reality, they're trimming the foot right out of the horse. And so the horse has no heel, the horse has no sole, nothing holding it together, so wham, on a rock, and the hoof capsule breaks. I mean, there's your hoof capsule. Okay, now this horse, the heels were collapsed and run forward. This horse here, so easy to pull the hoof capsule off of. Anytime you can get a heel loose, you can zip off these capsules just like a zipper, like that. See, so when you trim the heels out or the heels collapse and run forward, it's easy to damage the foot and damage the capsule. So all these capsules is a shell. And the hoof capsule on that horse was pretty much totally trimmed out in the heels. Had no heels, bulbs sitting on the ground, no sole. And so with no sole, now you can look and see this horse, she had pretty good thickness of sole. That horse, paper thin. I'd say not even a fourth of an inch, not maybe 3/8 of an inch of thickness of sole. Well, no wonder, you know, with the foot in it, and then it hits the ground, wham, very easily can be broken with no sole. So all these hoof capsules are containers. All right? And so now all these hoof capsules I have, they pretty much have most of the heel in them. Trying to think if I got one that doesn't have heel. Okay, this one was kind of trimmed out here. See? Right there. That one would have been kind of trimmed out. That would have pulled the coronary band and everything down. This would have been too short for that horse. His bulbs would have been on the ground. I'm trying to think. Okay, look. How thick is the sole? Not very. See, it wouldn't take much to fracture this hoof capsule. Trying to think if I got some others here. You know, anyway, you can trim off up to this much hoof capsule out of these horses. And what it does is it takes the bulb, it happens gradually, people don't even know what's going on. Okay, and it forms a false heel and what looks like a false buttress. And so they don't even know it's happening. And the frog gets all spread wide and poochy, and they think they have a frog, when really it's just a frog corium with barely a little covering on it. Okay, and so this capsule can be trimmed out. See, it's supposed to have capsule back to here. Okay, but it can be trimmed out, and it can pull all this bulb and everything under, so that you've only got this much hoof capsule and no sole, just like that. And then see, the capsule is meant to be clear out here, and even here on this horse here. Okay, because it's froze and kind of distorted a little bit, The collateral cartilage here is not up and where it exactly should be. So, you can trim the hoof capsules this much out of these horses. So, all this is a container right here. It's just a container. And I think I'm running out of battery. No, I'm doing okay. Okay, this is just a container. And how you trim it, how you understand it, how you understand that it grows from and fits to this foot is going to depend on the integrity of this container and its structural correctness. So if you trim this much out of the foot and then, and the wall, you could tell the dorsal wall on that horse, very, very short. So she had no sole, no heel, nothing to really hold that foot together. So any really super hard impact, like if the horse got out and run down a road or who knows what, okay, that's going to damage that foot. Okay, now I want to explain something to you about containers. Okay, you need a container that is going to hold the object you put in it and not break. Okay, that horse had a container like that. And the reason that that horse's container, which is the hoof capsule, was so fragile is because of the heel buttresses being trimmed out of it, because the heel buttresses are what stabilize the whole hoof capsule and allow for the sole to also grow thick and have stability. Well, that horse had none. Okay? Now, I want to ask you, which is going to hold up more? This capsule? This container? Or this one? Now, see, I can bust that. Boom. Easy. Boom. Okay? Well, that's the kind of container that horse had. Like this, because of the way it was trimmed. Not like that. It's going to take some punishment. You know, I do that. I could shatter that really easy. But I don't want to. Okay, so, that's the whole thing behind what I'm saying. There was the trim that trimmed the foot out of that horse, because that's what barefoot trims do, because of a farrier by the name of Jamie Jackson. Okay, what is it, Jamie? Jesse. Oh, I always mix them up. Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jamie Jackson, farrier. Okay, it was because of that farrier not knowing anatomy, because they don't, okay? Thousands of years they've had the opportunity to get it figured out, but they're so stuck on their traditions. There are so many errors in farrierism regarding the anatomy. And all they've ever done is tried to stick a shoe on it and hold it together, which they've done a miraculous job there, I can tell you that much. So therefore, they've never really studied the total structure of the heels and the hoof capsule. But they think they have. See, they think they know, but they haven't. And so this farrier, as I said, what did he do? He chose a wild horse that had its its heels worn out. Okay? It's not even like the really good wild horse feet. All right, so anyway, that's all I want to explain. What kind of capsule you got on your horse? What kind of container is your horse's foot in? You need one that is anatomically correct. That's going to fit this and support it and get it off the ground, and the walls are going to fit right, and the tubules are going to be lined up right. It's going to have a big, nice heel buttress, supporting the whole back of the bulb and the foot here. Your bulbs aren't supposed to be walking on the ground like that. All right, that's all I got to say about this episode.